Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Motorsport Manager. This is episode number 7. And in this episode, we are at the beginning of a new season. Our chassis is just about ready. We're going to go into our preseason testing in just a couple of days. And just as predicted, we suck. Big time. But we're in place to improve. We turned our finances around in a very good way, but we are not going to be very competitive this year. Chassis is nearly done, and we are 1 star across the board. We were 3 stars last year. So the car is going to, chassis-wise, going to be difficult to hold, but here's where we're starting to improve. Headquarters, we've got a new staff center 2 weeks away from being done, and we have plenty of finances to invest and turn that around and make another upgrade to the HQ right away. So we're improving our headquarters. The team itself, it stinks. Our design team was already really bad. The race mechanics really bad. It's the same ones we had last year. Our reserve driver is the same, but we lost 2 quality drivers in Gomez and Anthony, and now have Pick and Quinn. Pick has good potential, but neither one of these drivers are any good, as they are both between 1 and 1.5 stars. But here's the thing with these 2 drivers. Arthur Pick, 90% marketability. And Alex Quinn, 95. So with this outrageous percentage, we now have a team marketability of 68.7%. We are now a 3-star level, and we've already seen an immediate impact. We had a new sponsor, one that ran out at the end of the season. We brought in ASICS, brought in 2.7 million up front, plus 300,000 per race, and we added another slot that was not available to us when we were at just a single star, and this brought in nearly 4 million straight off the bat. Plus, for just a 6th place finish or above, we can bring in 650,000, which is a lot more than what we brought in before. However, we're not in a position to really get 6th or above virtually any point this year, but that still brought in almost an additional $4 million right there. Something we were unable to do last year. Now these other sponsors are going to have to run out before we can replace them. We have Qatar Airways coming up to be replaced at the end of this next race. We should be able to bring in a good sponsor in their place, a lot better than what they were in terms of sponsor quality. Team marketability is still low, but with our drivers' marketability, we're going to be able to bring in a lot more money. Plus, our 2 drivers are so much cheaper, where we're going to save $400,000 per race in terms of driver costs. So driver costs are down, sponsors are up, and that's going to help turn things around. Now we're still in the negative on the per race basis, but we still have a few sponsors to turn around that hopefully will get us to at least be at the about break-even point, and might be able to start earning something in terms of bonuses for performance. But we're going to have to go for low ones, because now we have bad drivers, and now we have a bad chassis. So between the two, we're going to be in a world of hurt this season. You look at the overall car, 10th. Drivers, 10th. We went from 2nd to 10th. Headquarters, still 8th, but in a couple weeks we're going to have one piece ready, and we're going to move on to the next. So headquarters is coming along. Staff is still 10th. Sponsors has jumped to the best on the grid. And our pit crew sits at 8th. We have not made any changes to the pit crew other than recycling where we were on who was assigned. But otherwise, we have the same pit crew we had before, and don't look to invest into that. we're not planning to invest on that this season. All right, so let's go ahead and head to our preseason testing, and let's see just how bad our car is. I think this season is going to be more about financial situation than anything else, and we're going to do what we can to set ourselves up for a long run in the future. In terms of money coming from the chairman, it's definitely not going to come through performance. It's going to have to come. See, we're straight to the back of the field. It's going to have to come through sponsorships to get our financial situation right. And then once we get in a better state in a year or two, then we can turn around. Both of these drivers, I was careful on how long to sign them for, and they are both signed up for 2 years. So at this point, I intend on spending 2 seasons, maybe just one if things go well enough. But if our finances are still in the red right now, I don't think we're going to be able to make drastic improvements to the car this year. It's probably going to take us 2 years to steadily improve the car enough to make the car competitive and the headquarters enough to support that. And then in a couple of years, if we're in a good enough financial state, we can turn around once again and get some better quality drivers. Maybe hang on to Pick and move him to a reserve driver and see if he continues to improve, and eventually retake a spot. But Quinn definitely will not be around for the long term, as he's got no room for improvement. Alright, so both cars appeared to suffer from overheating. Quinn was able to run quite a few laps, 21, nearly the most in the whole field, but we were a lot slower. Average speed, just 89 miles an hour. Top speed, just 112 miles an hour. We were definitely slower than the other cars in the field. No surprise. But let's see if there's at least a little bit of improvement from last year's car. The chassis is not improved, but the car itself might have slightly better parts than the year before, as what you left off with does have an impact on the car you come in with. So we're going to take a look at that in a moment, but let's go ahead and check the mail. So the new Rapax team, who were relegated from last year, look like they're going to be the favorites to bounce back this year. Preseason testing report. We were 18th and 19th. They said that was a fairly decent showing. Didn't look like it to me, but hey, when you are a 121032 half-star lead designer, I guess that's what you get. To them, that sounded good. All right, our target for the year. They expect us to finish 4th, 6th, or 8th, and I really don't think we are set to finish 6th this year at all. Like, at all. I like the bonus cash that we're about to get, but yikes. We're definitely going for 8th then, if that's our only choice. I was going to go for 10th. Alright, well, that adds $11 million to the coffers, which is nice. Again, financial state looking a lot better than it was. We are definitely going to have to use that money to invest in the car, especially now as there's going to be a little bit of pressure, as we are expected to finish 8th. And compared to last year's field, I'd say we'll be lucky to get 9th this year. Alright, well, we're going to go in right away and take a look at what parts we do have. Okay, so brakes have gone spec this year, so we're down to just an engine, gearbox, and suspension to worry about. And sure enough, suspension is a lot better than what we started off with last year. So is the gearbox, but you can see the improvability on these parts is nothing at all, and that had everything to do with the chassis this year, and the reliability is pitiful. So we're going to have to focus on reliability here early on. Luckily, the spec parts, that's not going to be an issue, but we're definitely going to have to invest some money in the engine as they are as bad as it comes. We've got just 11 days till the opening race in Portugal. We're gonna have a fun weekend. Okay, well, let's take a look at what parts we can design. We do need an engine more than anything else, so while we do have some money, we might go straight to the engine. The gearbox, while still being the worst in the grid, at least is not at that baseline where the engine or the suspension is. So there is one positive sign with the car going into this season. But again, we need to spend the money we've got to make some improvements. Risk level might not be a bad way to go this year, as I need to make big improvements and fast, but I'm going to save that for the end of the season. We're going to go with top speed plus 20. And that's going to have to do it for our first part of the year. The sad thing is it's going to cost us $1.5 million just for that small increment of improvement in the engine. And that's ultimately why we really need to focus on the long-term building of this team, because 1 or 2 part improvements are not going to make this car competitive. It's going to take a whole lot more than that, and we've got our work cut out for us over the next couple years to make this team competitive both in this division and ready to move up to the next division. Alright, well, let's go ahead and set up our improved parts. We're going to have to focus on our biggest needs first, which is reliability for sure, so that we can actually make it to the end of the race and hopefully not finish in dead last. If we have to go in and repair parts, we're going to be right in the back of the field every time. We're not going to mess with the engine just yet, though that is a disaster waiting to happen. But as we're going to have a couple new engines coming in here before long, since we're starting with engines this year, I'll go ahead and leave the improvability to the parts that are going to have to wait a bit longer and are a bit better off anyway. We'll also throw these in as they have small margins of performance enhancements that can happen, but we're going to put everything into the reliability piece. Alright, we're still going to focus on scouting a whole lot of drivers this year, because obviously the drivers we have are not going to take this team to the next level. So we're going to have to keep a lookout for something bigger and better as time goes on. Not even worried about the reports this year. I really have a feeling that we are not going to be competitive with the car right now. And we're going to be right at the back of the field. Alright, just a couple days till our first race of the season. The headquarters will be ready as soon as this race is done, so we'll be moving on to a new level soon. The staff center is about to be done. That will help us improve staff, though there's nobody to improve right now on that category, but in the long term it'll help. Alright, well, here we go to our first race weekend of season number 2 in the GP3 category. We are set to get our butts handed to us unless we get some serious luck to help us out. Alright, I don't think we're going to get anywhere near a top 6 finish. 75,000 is nothing in money, but hey, we'll take what we can get, right? Alright, let's see who has what parts. Alex Quinn is even contractually set as a reserve driver, so I've got no problem putting the better parts on Pick's car, even though their status is equal. Like I said, we might hang on to them a bit longer. Alex Quinn will be somebody we'll try to replace sooner rather than later. So where we can, we're going to put the better parts on Pick's car, like having slightly better reliability. We'll give that to Pick. Better performance on the gearbox goes to Pick, and suspension are level on performance, slightly better to reliability. So we've got two crappy cars going out today. Pick just with a small gearbox advantage. Alright, so just a couple episodes ago we were at Tondela. Last season it was the 7th of 8 races. This year it's going to lead off the season. Now in this category we do not have qualifying, and we have short practice sessions. So we do not have long to get the car right, and then we've got to go straight into racing. And to make things worse, our feedback levels are a lot lower on these drivers, so it's going to be that much harder to find the setup we need in the cars. So we're going to have our hands full. Now, looking at these two setups, downforce wise, we're definitely going to be aiming for this area, as that seems to be the only overlap. Handling might be okay where it's at. Speed balance looks like it's going to be from about here to here. It's still a pretty big range, but we'll start with the speed balance where it is presently located. We'll move left towards the acceleration if we need. Handling could really go either way, but probably towards understeer, and downforce as well. So we're going to have to move downforce left right off the bat, so let's go ahead and do that. And we wanted to move handling also in that direction if need be. So there we go. Let's see, estimated laps have now dropped to 7 and 9 and 11 and 13. So if it is a 25 lap race, this car is not, we're not going to make it on softs for all 3 times through. So I think we're going to be running mediums for the most part in this race, as we might be lucky to get 10 laps even in the mediums. Alright, so we're already on the mediums here. We're going to move that downforce over. We're going to move that handling over a bit, and that will get us our start estimate. So we're going to head to practice session. We're still at 12 minutes per practice session this year. Car's ready to go, so we're going to head out onto the track. One of our only chances of being very competitive this year is taking advantage of these short practice sessions and having a car that's more dialed in than our opponents, because we don't have the tire wear, we don't have the fuel burn. The chassis itself is in sad shape, the car itself is in sad shape, and now both drivers are in sad shape. So with nothing going for us, really all we can do is build for long term this season, survive financially speaking, and make sure we don't get fired now that there's a little bit of pressure from the chairman to actually perform this year when we're not competitive. Alright, well, we're heading into flying laps, but I'm going to bring in, we'll bring in Quinn this lap because we need to start making adjustments and cannot wait, even though he's not going to finish his hot lap here. Alright, so Quinn's into the pits, and let's see how our setup's looking. Okay. You could almost say, quote Matthew McConaughey, alright, on that one. But 77% is not good. So we've got a ways to go. But we're in the ballpark. Now we don't know which way to go necessarily, but I think they all need to come to the left in these categories. So let's try that first and foremost. Okay means there's quite a bit of room to improve, so we're going to come left quite a bit here. Left and left. There we go. Alright, so we're going to give that a shot, see what that does for the car. It's going to take us 20 seconds to improve that. And look at that, just 2 laps and those tires are pretty toast. And that's the mediums. Alright, well, Pick's going to be coming in this lap. 3.5 seconds, 4.5 seconds off the pace. Yikes. I don't think I saw any lap times quite like that last year. So the struggle is real this season. We just gotta be patient. Alright, so we have okay, good, okay in the feedback this time. We were 1% better than our teammate, and everything's kind of looking the same. So we're gonna do what we can, push left in all categories and see if that pays off. Handling doesn't have to go quite as far, and we're gonna head back out on the track. Alright, Quinn is now running a hot lap. We haven't even had one yet, so we'll go ahead and give him a chance. And we are dead last, 5 seconds off the pace, more than half a second behind the next car up. So good luck to us this year. We're gonna need it. Alright, well, time's running short. We're gonna bring both cars in and check them out. See if we can at least lock in the setup and get the car running to its best capability, which won't be much, but at least something. Alright, so we're at 86% now. We're getting there. Handling is still at okay. We actually went from good, so it looks like we needed to come the other way on the handling, and that should get us in pretty solid shape. Okay, so I want to go a little further. There we go, and I want to level off this speed balance. That was great, though. Let's not come all the way up. We'll push it a little bit right. And we were okay there. We're great here, so we're going to go just that little bit more. Check that out. So we've got 2 small movements there and a pretty big adjustment here. Alright, well, let's give it a try. And here comes Quinn. Great and excellent, but the handling is way off. 2 out of 3 though. We'll take it. Alright, so that was okay before and poor here. So we need to get all the way to the L in handling. There we go, there's the L, but we want to fix the speed balance. Oh, perfect. Okay, we're still in the L. Speed balance is right on the money. And we're going to make a small adjustment Let's see if we can't quite nail. Nope. You know what? I'm not even gonna make that adjustment. We're gonna stick with the downforce as it is because I don't want to mess with the speed balance. So we're just going after the handling now. All right, 3.5 minutes left in this session. The tires are sucking on both cars, and these are the mediums. They're not the softs. We're gonna have a rough year. All right, both cars come out of the pits, nose to tail at the same time, with 3 minutes left to go in the session, and we're probably just gonna run the time out and see where we're at. Give them a chance to at least run a lap, see if they can improve on that time a little bit. Yeah, it's the final minute of the session, so no time left to adjust. We're gonna get what we get. Both teams actually do get a bonus lap here. They were within 1/10 of a second of each other. But that's still over 5 seconds back. So, let the sucking begin. We're going to have a tough year. Tough year. It's really going to take other cars breaking down for us to finish ahead of anybody, as we were over 5 seconds behind, more than a second behind the car in front of us, almost 2 seconds behind 17th, so it's going to be a real struggle. Let's just hope we don't get fired from the chairman here right away. We're going to need a little bit of luck this season. Alright, well, we're going to use the medium tires and that race trim bonus. We only managed a level 1 bonus on each. Yikes. Alright, well, that's only a 10% bonus. So, again, today's going to be all about survivability. It looks like we did get the setup fairly strong. The handling on both hit excellent. So, that's good. We don't want to be running the soft tires. We got up to 97% overall. We are going to run the mediums probably throughout this race. Maybe softs on the final run if we are close enough to benefit from that. Right? And driver strategy, we're not gonna race hard. I guess we can push a little. I don't know where we're starting. Grid 14th and 18th. So our random start for the first race. There's no qualifying in this series. Here we go. First race of the year. It's gonna be ugly, but what can we do? Pick moves up a spot. Right off the bat, Quinn's already in 19th and falling way behind, but a couple drivers in front of them. Looks like they had a small collision. That could benefit us if they have to pit, especially if they have a drive-through penalty and could potentially lose a big chunk of time for that. No notification of anything as of yet. It would be nice if somebody was headed for the pits. Alright, so Quinn goes straight to the back of the pack. 20th place already. Pick is 17th. We just do not have a competitive car. We're getting driven in, out, and around every corner. And we are already 19th and 20th in the grid, right where we belong. I'm going to speed through this. This is just going to be an ugly season, so we're going to work fast this year to try to improve for the long term. Look at that. They're just driving right away from us. So at least in the short term, this is a car that is not going to be competitive, but we want to see if we can make it to the end of the race without having to deal with fixing parts, and maybe, just maybe, somebody could have a really long pit stop and we could benefit from it, or they just crash out of the race. So we're going to drive pretty conservatively. We are on lap 7 right now. We're already down into the mid 30s, low 30s on tire condition, and that's on the medium tires. Alright, well, we're going to be pitting here real soon. We are into the worn tires. Quinn is ready to come in. It's only the end of lap 8. I want to bring him in now. 8, 16, 24. That's not even enough to get to the end of the race right now. Pick might just make it 2 more laps. Quinn, we're going to try go 1 more so we can get to the end of this race on just 2 stops. There we go. Alright, so Quinn's now going to be heading in. We're going to stick with the mediums because we clearly cannot get to the end. And we're not even going to take any risk. So Quinn's going to pit soon. Arthur Pick's going to go 1 more lap before they come in. There's that lap. We're going to go ahead and set them to pit. We'll stick with the mediums. We're going to fill up. Car conditions doing okay. And it's going to be a slow pit stop. It's going to be a long day. No, it's going to be a short day. We're just going to get through this. We're going to smile. We're going to nod. And we're going to take it right in the rear, really, because that's what kind of performance we're going to get out of this team. There we are, right into the back of the field, 19th, 20th position. Looks like we might even see ourselves getting lapped at some point today. At some point in the fairly near future. That first place car, Piquet, is closing right up on us in the back of the field, and it's only lap number 14. So this is the year that we get lapped. Alright, looks like we can race a little bit harder here now. Alright, so our big hope here is that before the end of this race, thanks to car parts and issues and trying to fix those, that other cars are going to require extensive or additional stops or just plain be out of the race before its end. So far though, all 20 cars are still on the grid. Alright, now looking at the condition, we're getting close here to needing to stop. We're also down to 6 laps. Arthur Pick having trouble with the gearbox. We're going to ignore that for now. But we definitely want to make sure we get to the end. Alright, so Quinn is going to stop this lap. And we're going to be down to 6 laps. I don't think those softs are going to make it, so we're going to stick with the mediums. And that should be enough fuel to get us to the end. Gearbox is already down to 22% for Quinn. But if we are going to beat anybody, it's going to happen because they have to stop to fix parts. So that's why we're driving conservatively to try to make the car last to the end. Pick's going to wait 1 more lap. He's got a pretty good gap between him and Quinn now. 6 seconds, just a couple positions. Oh, safety car's heading out. Shoot. Somebody just crashed. Calderon, who started the race in first. So, do I want to bring them both in right now? Probably do. Even though it's going to be back-to-back and Quinn's going to suffer for that. I'm going to change Quinn's strategy. And I'm going to try to quick pit Pick. And there's going to be a safety car which is going to take a lap or 2. So we're going to put on softs. Try to push for the end. Only going to need 5 laps of fuel. I'm not going to mess with the part. and we're going to push fast, 7 seconds in and out. Okay, and there is a 4-second gap between Pick and Quinn right now. So it looks like it's only going to cost Quinn about 3 seconds. Here's what we're going to do for Quinn. We're going to also go to the softs. And we're going to get enough fuel to go to the end. And we're going to fix this gearbox. Are we? It's going to save us time going into the next race. Yeah, here's what we're going to do with Quinn. Quinn's done. Quinn's going to sacrifice and only finish ahead of whoever crashes out of this race. We're going to spend 93 seconds in the pits, and we're going to fix up every part in this car, which is going to save us time after the race, maybe a half a day to a day's worth of time for the crew to fix these parts. And we're not even gonna, we're gonna play it safe. 140 seconds, no mistakes. So we're sacrificing Quinn, but we're gonna try to get something from Pick. And here we go. Alright, so both cars are into the pits. Quinn is pulling in now and only had to wait a couple of seconds. Yeah, Pick, you just did. Alright, so we have Quinn. They made a mistake on repairing, really? 1%, and they still made a mistake anyway? Trying to keep the pit crew stable. Alright, now I think Quinn lost a lap. We're going to see Pick closing up on the field. Nice. Okay, so Pick is in 15th. Pace car's heading in. Well, safety car's heading in. So we're going to have a restart here in a moment. Pick is in 15th on soft tires with just a few laps to go. At least once across the start-finish line. And Quinn is a lap down along with Lot. So Quinn has a chance to pass Lot. And if anybody else has to stop in the meantime, that's our chance to move up through the field. Alright, so Pick is going to try to get to the end. And we're going to push the tires. There we go. Quinn's car is definitely good to go. Don't need to watch that one. We want to watch what's happening with Pick. See if they can hang on. And just like that, Arthur Pick, out of nowhere, without any warning, goes out for that gearbox. So now we're going to suffer severe penalties to Pick's car. It's going to take a long time to repair that one after this race. And now we've got just Quinn left in the race, who we just sacrificed everything on. And now we're going to have a very, very poor finish for both cars. Alright, well, final lap is on. Quinn's already a back marker. Couldn't even catch Lot, couldn't catch anybody else. And we get to the finish. 18th, 19th place in the opening race of the season. The one thing I wanted to avoid was having mechanical issues ourselves, and that's exactly what we ended up with. Well, the struggle this season is going to be a major struggle, but it can only get better from here. So that does it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my road to the record.